Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Nord, and I'm happy to be here with marathoner Keijo Taivassalo. Keijo, how are you doing this morning?
That's fine, thank you.
Good. I heard you had a little bit of a trouble even getting to the marathon, almost missed the start.
Yes, we had a difficulty because the bus driver missed the exit. Actually, we missed our starting time was half an hour. But it doesn't really matter because it's a rolling start, so everybody gets time there. But start was good.
Good. Still a little scary, though.
A little bit scary, yeah. The bus, everybody was nervous, looking each other where we're going. We should be on a starting line already. But
So then you started, and how did the race go? How did it actually feel compared to some of your other races?
This time it was different, but I felt very good. It's really, I start with my actual pace. I didn't go too fast. It's very important to start slow actually, and then increase the pace later on. But I was running till half a marathon very easy, and I felt good, and then I keep going.
Good. And what was that pace? What's the target pace that you were shooting for?
Target pace was 9:28.
Mm-hmm. Per mile.
Per mile, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't give miles because.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. So what was the time that you were shooting for?
I was shooting around 4 hours.
Right around 4 hours.
Oh, yes.
Wow, that is something else. That's really great. And then how did it feel? I mean, the Boston Marathon of all marathons is a little bit challenging with Heartbreak Hill. Maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about what that actually is. Like, what is Heartbreak Hill in the Boston Marathon?
It's last hill on the race, and it's pretty deep and long, and it breaks a lot of runners on it. That's why it's called a Heartbreak Hill, because most of the people, they had to walk up. It's really deep.
It's that steep.
Yeah, it's that deep, and then, but it's doable. It's everybody get up there anyway. So I, like my son told me that he was watching the program and he saw me on that hill, and everybody was walking, but I came beside, and even commentators say that, oh, there's one guy, coming really crazy, passing. His head is down, and he was going like crazy. Yeah.
And then you had a little accident that happened as well. You had a fall during the race.
4 miles before the finish line, I stumbled with my legs, or I tried to pass one in my front. I was just behind, and somehow I hit my other leg to my heel, and I just fall down. And I get my hands first, and my knee was only sore when I get up. But I was helped to get up. There's a lot of runners helping me up. And then there was one gentleman who said, okay, I'm not running anymore either, so we can walk the rest of the race to the finish line. I said, no, thank you. I have no time for a walk,
And you need to be on pace.
Yeah. Then I slowly get back to the pace.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And the knee was okay the rest of
the
time?
Yeah, knee. I was worried about it at the beginning when I start, but slowly it was getting back to the regular run.
And the hands were okay?
Hands was, unbelievable. I didn't get any scratches on my hand. And it was asphalt.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah.
We've talked in other episodes about how important it is to keep your bones strong, because if you do fall, having that upper body strength as well as the lower body strength is really important, so you don't break bones. Clearly, you're doing something right. You just kind of rolled and kept going.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, my best pace was last mile. So, like, I was just coming to close to the finish line, and I saw one older person there, gray hair, and I said, it must be my age group. And then I said, I had to catch this guy, maybe he's a winner. But I got it right in the finish line. My foot was first, so I really speeded up, I still have strength,
So
Yes.
after 26 miles, it
After
came down to
26
1 foot.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
And then it turned out that the gentleman I was 65 years old, so...
Oh, so you had a beaten age and time.
Yeah, right.
That's great.
So that was great. Yeah.
Pretty exciting news. You actually, in the over 80 category, won the Boston Marathon, and not for the first time.
No, that was actually my fourth time.
Wow.
But my age group, plus 75, I won twice. And when I turned 80, no, twice.
Wow.
So 4 times.
So in terms of how you felt afterwards, I know I've run a couple of marathons, and I couldn't walk up and down stairs for a few days afterwards. My legs were pretty sore. How did you feel afterwards?
Well, my legs were sore too, but they wasn't too bad. After my daughter was in, like my manager actually, she was following me on a route, 4 times to meet me and cheering me up, that helped me, I think.
That's
quite
great,
yeah.
cheering you along.
Yes, right. Yeah. But that after that wasn't too sore, but the next day it was a little sore. It was hard to walk up downstairs, but otherwise I felt very good.
So maybe we can also go back all the way to the beginning. So as a child growing up in Finland, what was that like? What were your parents? Were they active? What did they do? What did they do for a living? And then even before you went and did your time in the military,
they was active actually in military because it was a war that time, and my father was in the front line many times, and also my mother was they make food for the soldiers in on the line, Yeah, it was. They call them Lotta. It is a special group of the military for the women. So they had all this job. So whole nation was with this,
So you're even early on. You were brought up with a lot active and focus on nutrition and diet, probably at the same time.
Probably because there wasn't too much that time. You had to find the best what you can. It's like I was born in 39. Then it started the winter war in Finland, against the Russian, and then after that till 44. It continues, so I was 5 years old, so I still have memories on
those times.
Those times,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then as you got older, what did you do for a living after you went through your education?
For education, actually, I started to be interested to go out of Finland, traveling. I was 17 years, I went through the Europe, most of the countries in Europe. Came back, then I go army. After army, I decided, because I have a good school friend in Canada, and he asked me come over, look, around. So I was very interesting. I came here in 1962 first, and I will go 3 years and went back, and that time I didn't find a job in Finland. And then I came back here again on 66, met my wife 65 here, and then we get married here to 69, and we went to honeymoon to Finland and stay 7 years in Finland.
Long honeymoon.
So long honeymoon and 2 kids, that so was great.
Wow.
So then we decided to come, because that time I was working in Finland in Finnair. So then we decided to, let's go back to Canada. I had a Finnair, so to me it was easy to come here, just fly over and look at the job. And then one day I get a call, Keijo, you would like to come to New York? I have a position there. I was a cargo manager of New York. Yeah. So I got a job there, and I said, well, let's go. Would you like to go to New York?
Yeah.
We have a job. Of course, we went, and it lasted 7 years
Wow.
In
So you've worked
Long
all
Island.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then after that, actually I was requiring a job for Finnair. I said, is any chance to come back to Finnair? So they said, yeah, but the job is in Toronto because they opening office here. And then I got the job and they opened the office here, and yeah, that lasted 5 years.
Wow.
Then returned back. And after that, I had this own company.
Yeah. So you've been around in Toronto and Canada for the last few years then, last few decades.
Yes.
Yeah.
Between always end up here.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I like it here. It's fantastic.
So when did you actually start running?
Well, I've been running, I guess, all my life, but like school time, army, but then I was cross-country skiing, and I started actually marathons. I started 1979. So it's 42 years ago. Was my first marathon.
Wow.
And it catch me, I said, I was just repeating all the time. I run now 57 marathons.
Wow.
Totally, yeah.
57 marathons in 42 years.
Right.
So that's more than one a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite?
My favorite now is Boston.
Ah, okay.
It's tough and very challenging, And it's kind of prestige marathon, that everybody wants to run around the world in Boston.
Yeah, even qualifying.
Qualified
it's tough to qualify. Even.
Right.
Yeah. How did you qualify for this one?
I did very well because my time was 4:10 and my quality time is, I think it's 4:50. So I had a lot of room.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you have done a lot of cross-country skiing, and at one point you're one of the top cross-country skiers in Canada. How did that happen?
Okay, at that time, to be honest, there wasn't too many cross-country skiers. They mainly was, the top guys, there was Finns.
They grew up on skis.
Yeah, it was amazing, that there was no other national or Canadians on that time. Then it slowly came to like universities and all these cross-country programs, and forget after that all these young kids came, and
a lot more competition.
Yeah, it was really competition. Maybe that's one reason I started to run a marathon.
There you go.
Yeah, but I still do cross-country skiing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And has COVID affected the marathons in terms of putting together a large group of people?
Right.
Has that affected your training at all over the last 2 years?
Maybe a little bit, but I had a vaccination and everything, so I went out all the time in the park or somewhere with not many people at all, so it didn't affect too much, but some way it did because you couldn't go really group or training with the other guys.
Yeah.
So that's sort of bad part of it, but otherwise it's okay.
Yeah, that's great. So what is your training? How do you train for a marathon? So, Boston is at a certain time of the year.
Yeah.
Do you start you back up the
Right.
bus and you start to kind of increase? How do you train?
Train. Okay, when I have a marathon, I start 3 months before the marathon. And like now I have to start on January. And I have a program to do the training program, and I follow that up, and it's works with me. Like now too, my training program I got it from Toronto University guy Walter. He gave me a program, and 2019, and I made a record. On a freeze 47. It's a Boston record plus 80.
Wow.
Nobody has done before that time, so it was pretty.
So it works.
Amazing. It works.
The training program works.
But it's tough program, but it works.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that. How much mile do you run? A lot of miles every day, a lot of kilometers every day, or do you space it out? Or
I space it out. It starts slowly, and it's building up. Like I start from 3 miles, and then going all the way up to 23 miles. It's my highest mileage, but it's on the end of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And
you graduate to that.
Graduate that, and then you're going down mileages before the marathon.
The last week or so, or last couple of weeks?
Yeah, last 3 weeks. Yeah, last 3 weeks.
That's great.
Getting done.
And I know we've talked on other episodes too about the importance in terms of longevity and staying healthy is feeling part of a community.
Right.
And you have a running community in Thornhill where you live.
Yes. It's a nice group of the people. Actually, they are a lot from South Africa. There's a one run in South Africa. It's 90 kilometers. Yearly, and we even plan to go there once to run. There's a guys from that generation that they are been running that 90k.
How often do you get together with the group?
Weekly, Thursdays and Saturday run.
It's nice to feel part of the group, even if it is a solo exercise. The sport is solo; you're running by yourself,
right.
But it's nice to have a group around.
Oh yes, definitely. It's easy to run and relaxing. You can talk and get more relaxed run.
And do you have overuse injuries? Have you ever had some injuries just from putting all the miles in, all the kilometers?
I have once in a while. Then I had to take it off. For the running, I had. Like this time when I was training, I get bad blisters on my toes. Ooh. Yeah, and it took me a week off of training. Yeah. But they healed, and then I started. Then I start slowly again, and then building up the weekly program. Yeah.
That's really good. I find, I just turned 60, and so much younger than you. And I found.
So you have time.
Yes, I have 2 decades.
Right.
A lot ahead of me, but I find I'm probably as fit and as strong as I was even 15, 20 years ago, but I find I'm a little more likely to get some overuse injuries, and if I do, they're a little slower to heal. That's one of the things that I've been noticing.
That's what I noticed.
Have you noticed that too?
Yes. It's if you have injuries, but I try always run through. Slowly I back up a little bit for training, and then slowly start to increase. Even it's a little bit painful, but I run right through. And then I heal. Yeah. Because circulation and all that. But if you start to take it easy and sit down, and it doesn't heal.
Yeah. So keep it moving. But just a little lighter intensity.
Right.
Yeah, that seems to work well.
Yeah, it seems to me anyway.
That's great. And now also things like diet and sleep. How does that contribute to your success?
Sleep, that's very important for me anyway. I have at least 8 or 9 hours sleep at night, and eating healthy food. A lot of like a Mediterranean diet. A little more that size. I eat sometimes meat too. But not too often.
Yeah, so very much the Mediterranean diet.
Right.
And we've had on other episodes, we've been highlighting that. And
okay.
At Medcan, we really put a line under and underscore the importance of the Mediterranean diet. Prevents inflammation in the body and prevents a lot of diseases as well.
Right. Yes. And I've been doing that for years and years. And I like fish, like salmon. At least I have once or twice a week salmon.
Perfect. And you start your day with oatmeal? You said you start your day with oatmeal.
Oatmeal, yes. Yeah. That's been, I'm from the kid. Like I'm from Finland, and we didn't have, that was one of the highlights, oatmeal in the morning.
Yeah.
Because there was not too much food around at that time.
That's great.
But it stick with me, till now. I had.
Well, something's working for sure.
Yeah, maybe there's some secret.
Yeah. And how about your parents? Were they very active and long-lived? Is there any in the family?
In my family, my parents, they didn't do too much for sport. My father was 92, but my grandfather is 102.
Wow.
So that was
So there's some good genes there as
Good
well.
genes, probably, yeah.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of sports medicine in my background as well, and I've noticed that runners that can run well into their, like after decades of running, they also have a common denominator in that their mechanics are good. Like they're not bow-legged or knock-kneed. Their legs are straight. They have a nice even gait, and when they run very smooth and relaxed, as opposed to pounding the pavement. So you must have a very nice, relaxed running style as well.
Yeah, I think so. I have very relaxing steps. I bounce, quite a bit, but I have a easy style.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so, any other when you're not running, what kind of things are you doing? Do you do cross training? Do you do any other resistance training that's sort of not running?
Little bit, not much. Like light weights I use and stretching and then I have a treadmill and embodiment and this epsicular, going.
Work the upper body a little bit as
too,
well.
that's, but not heavy weights.
Yeah, so light. Again, so you're not going to get those overuse injuries if you're doing too heavy weights.
No, right.
Yeah,
yes,
that's great. And you mentioned you were in the military as well. Did you say?
Yeah, I was in the military. In Finland, you had to go to army for 1 year.
Yeah. And was there training involved, physical training as part of that?
Yes, that was really good. I started a lot. I learned from there.
Yeah.
Oh, that
was a bit of a base for you.
And you had to keep up. You don't want to be last. Yeah,
there might be a penalty for coming last.
Right. They had a lot of competition there too. But you always had a rifle with you.
Yeah.
It's 70 kilometers, and you had to carry the rifle. So that was quite a...
That's a long way.
And then the whole team has to come together. So I was carrying 2 rifles because some guy couldn't...
He wasn't going to finish.
No, he didn't finish, so I helped him to carry the
Wow.
rifle. Yeah.
And then cross-country skiing in Finland must be big as well.
That was big. That's big. That's the first... you go in the wintertime with the cross-country skis to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it becomes part of your daily ritual.
Right.
It's not even a sport, it's transportation.
Transportation, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
That was good. And I continue here too in 1960s, 65, 67. I was one of the top Canadian cross-country skiers, 10 top somewhere.
Wow. So a good solid endurance and power base when you moved over to marathon running then.
Right.
That's great.
It interests me because here it's not too easy to find a good cross-country skiing place. Mm-hmm. So then I thought I'm going to try marathon first, and then after that there's no return. Just I keep going on, and I like it.
So now moving forward, so what does the future look like? What are your plans for the next few years for running and your training and?
Well, I have a couple. First, to Boston again on the 15th April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they moved the dates this year because it was a catch-up year.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I'm planning to go back to Finland. There's World Championship, Masters. World Champion in Tampere in August.
Great.
Yeah, that's my plan. Yeah. And then I haven't think after that.
That's far enough.
That's far enough. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, so for our listeners, if you could give them a couple of pieces of advice, and so how could they keep active many years after my age, 60? So how, if they could be active in their 80, what kind of advice would you give?
Well, you have to be active. You go all the time. Don't have to be long runs but keep moving all the time. And if you're not a marathon or anything, but it's a very good idea to just running and relaxing outside in a park, it's really good mentally health too. I find that too.
For sure.
So just keep running, taking easy, and then it's pace. Yeah. Keep active. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've got a great balance going. So you're active, but also getting some rest.
Right. Yeah. Between the marathons, I have a rest periods. Like now, I don't go too much out. Like yesterday, I was 4 miles. What is 4 miles? And short runs, not and only 2 or 3 times a week.
Right. So you have a recovery day after, even after a short run.
Even after short run.
Yeah. No, that's great. And then the diet, like you said, the Mediterranean diet.
Right.
And good sleep.
Good sleep. Yeah. All those things helps you to keep active in your later life.
Yeah. Well, you're the living example. In other episodes, we've talked about the research and the studies around these same things. You're the living example of how all these things can come together, and it doesn't help to have some good genes, that you picked good parents along the way.
Yeah, right. Not my choice, but I like that.
Yeah.
They were good parents.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, thank you so much for the conversation. This has been really interesting, and congratulations on Boston and the next one and the World Championships. That's very exciting to look forward to. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
great.
That was Medcan's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Peter Nord, in conversation with Keijo Taivassalo, the 82-year-old marathoner.
We'll post episode highlights and links and the full video at eatmovethinkpodcast.com.
Eat Move Think is produced by Ghost Bureau. Senior producer is Russell Gragg.
Associate producer is Jasmine Rach. Social media and strategy support is from Chantal Gertan and Andrew Imecs. I'm executive producer Christopher Shulgan.
Remember to rate and subscribe to Eat Move Think on your favorite podcast platform. Follow our host, Sean Francis, on Twitter and Instagram at Sean C. Francis, that's Sean with a U, and Medcan at Medcan Live Well.
We'll be back soon with a new episode examining the latest in health and wellness.